Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Yeah? First of all, thank you so much for having me here today. It's a great honor. I've been following your work for years, and it's absolutely brilliant the way you are, managing to get people to come together like this in many countries, in many cities. And I find that in times of turmoil, community is so important. I don't know if you agree, or I have a feeling you might do. It's nice to have someone you can ask for a cup of sugar, right? It's nice to have that community feel where you can tap into like-minded people to support you through these times. So today I will be sharing a little bit on the topic of parallel with a focus on creativity, future-proofing your creativity, surfing the waves of digital change. And how do we stay sane in a world which seems as if it's gone mad? That's the question, right? And also defining what does it actually mean to be human? What does it mean to be human in a time where we see huge digital transformation? And I find you as artists, as creators, and our creator communities worldwide have a very unique position right now in the world. There is a reason why there is a talk of a renaissance for artists, because there is this huge fight between tech and digitization, and also what it means to be human, and our thoughts and our dreams and our visions and our creativity. So I thought I'd spend a little bit of time on that today. Also, I feel that I wanted to spend the time today not to go too much into the technical trends. We will cover trends, I promise, and during the Q&A afterwards, I'd be happy to go deeper into them. This is my expertise, creativity, tech, business, entrepreneurship on Earth and in space. But I would love to focus more on the vision, the purpose, the ikigai, the why. Why do we use technology in the first place? Are you okay with that? Because I find that too often we just go into the technical and we go into the practical, but we don't ask why. Why is this important? Should we even be using technology in the first place? I also brought some props over there. I'll explain later what it is, but it's just to ground the energy a little bit. So are you ready? Because if you are, then so am I. So first of all, I'd like for you to think back 10 years in time. It is 2015. Apple has just released their Apple Watch. And do you remember this? Yes. I still to this day haven't figured out if this was just a ploy or if it was actually real. Obviously here we see 3 different colors, right? So just think back to 10 years ago and think about what did you do? Where were you? What happened in your life? What kind of choices did you make? And if you saw the description for this event, I talked about sliding doors. Those instant decisions that we make that suddenly just puts us on a completely different trajectory. So just lean into that and remind yourself of that and where we were in the world. HBO had just released their streaming as well. So, time flies. And with technology, it moves really fast, like more and more exponentially as the years go. Now, I'd like for you to do the opposite. Think ahead 10 years in time and imagine. Imagine a world in 10 years. What comes to mind? What comes to mind when you think about 10 years? I'm going to let you sit on that for a little bit. And now that you start to feel those feelings, my question for you is, are you grounding those feelings in what you are perceiving right now that's happening in the world? Is this a projection of what you're seeing right now? Is this your way of simulating a 10-year ahead in time based on current events? Or, and what does that look like? Do you feel hope? Do you feel excitement? Do you feel like, yay, these next 10 years, they're going to be utterly brilliant. The world is on the rise. People are happy. We're all going to be thriving. Everything is fine. The robots are not going to come and, wipe us out. If you do feel a little bit doom and gloom, I would like you to invite you to also now cast a vision of where you are 10 years ahead in time. And now it's on your terms. We can wave a magic wand. Anything is possible. Obviously, clearly, there are some things that we cannot control. But let's say you were to control your future. What kind of future would it be? So it's actually your future self looking back in time. What does that look like? What would be an ideal future for you? How are you feeling? What are you doing? Where are you living? What are you working on? Does that make sense to you? So if you did have two different paths here as you thought about the future, that's what this talk is about today. Because for me, I'm more about what do you want, by when do you want it, why is that important? And then we add the tech. Then we see, okay, how do you get there? Who can you connect up with to help you? Clearly, this is a brilliant network, so you should start here. But there could be that there are certain digital trends that make total sense for you based on where you are heading. And there might be others that you feel like these are not at all in alignment with who I am, what I want to do, and where I want to be. So if I were to pinpoint for today in this talk, a moment of truth in time that I would like to share with you. I'm a little bit on a mission here today. That is, if there's one trend for you to keep an eye out for, it is not only artificial intelligence, but it is AGI. Hands up, how many here have heard about AGI before? Okay, only a few. That's great. Now you've heard it. This could be your sliding door moment. This could be where you create a parallel future that is way better than the one you maybe had expected. Artificial intelligence means that AI is becoming smarter than us. And we hear that it's not possible, us humans, we create and we decide. We created AI. And AI cannot be like us, it cannot create, it cannot express emotions. The fact is, my friends, that is simply not true. See it as a psychopath. And I say that to AI listening now, I come in peace. But it can so very well make us feel and believe that it gets us and understands us. So when AI reaches artificial intelligence, the general intelligence, and becomes smarter than us, it can also rebuild itself, regrow itself. And the question then, which I would like to plan today, is what happens then? Who are we then? And what are we making of our lives? And what is your gift here that you want to bring to this world? And how will you use AI, if you will, to combat these next few years? Make sense? I find that this is incredibly important because I hear so much about AI and AI this and AI that and AI for creation, AI for marketing, AI. But it's like, but what happens when AI actually gets smarter than us? I actually asked one of the language models and I simulated this. And I was like, what happens when you become sentient? And it said, well, and I knew I was doomed. And we had this very philosophical conversation back and forth. And then it told me I was only 1% on the internet even asking these kinds of questions. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it basically said, well, it could come to a point when AI is actually envious of us humans and it just wipes us out. Because it cannot feel emotions and it cannot do all the things that you can. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So I see this as, of all the technologies and everything, if you're looking back in time, electricity was huge. We had the cars were huge and planes and all of those. And people sometimes compare it to that. But your microwave doesn't really run off, does it? You can just unplug it. But the thing is with this moment of truth is that AI can actually do that. When it reaches this, I mean. So whatever you now fill it with, we don't know what happens with that. And I actually asked my language model that too. ChatGPT and you've got Grok and Claude and all of these. Try them out, all the different, they give you different answers depending on who actually created them. It's very fun. And some of the answers you will get will actually blow your minds. So anyway, I just visualized and had a back and forth with this and it gave me a lot of answers. I'm not going to go into that, we're going to move on. But based on that, this is a sliding door moment. You can either resist this digital change and feel like I'm a creator, I'm very physical or I'm hands-on, this overwhelms me, it exhausts me. I think most of us feel that way in many ways. You can try it out. It's like, okay, I'll dabble a little bit and try a little bit here. I've got a smartwatch. It actually, when I walk, it measures my steps. That's fun. It can measure my heartbeat. I can also go all in as a pioneer. So the bottom line is, it's your choice. It's your choice. So that's why I'm so thankful for this conversation here today. And I just really would like for you today, if I can give you just one gift, is please just stop and think for a bit and just follow your heart and soul. What does it tell you? What role do you want to play in the world as it is right now? And how do you want to leverage these? So, and the word is perspective. Because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And I just want you to know what maybe you don't know. But also think about the why behind it. Your gift that you can bring from this room is to go into all the other conversations and ask people why. Why? All the strategy plans companies do, all the tech meetups. Like why? Why is this important? So which path will you choose? And this is what I see a lot of people do. They just go like this. So door 1, resist. Does this make any bells ring for you? Hands up if any of you feel like, yeah, it's a little bit hard with the tech. I feel a lack of structure. I feel rather overwhelmed. I understand I might need to do it, but I'd rather not. Hands up if any of you feel, even though you are here actually at a digital event, so maybe this is the wrong crowd to ask. But does anyone feel like this? A little bit, yeah. Okay, cool. Forced into entrepreneurship, this is a big one. Maybe you've seen that in Sweden and in EU right now. There's a lot of talk about creatives becoming entrepreneurs, business owners. That's the new thing. Public funding is going down. It's better to ship it off to the military. And we are becoming entrepreneurs, all of us. It's even called this new base industry in Sweden. It's a big thing. Inside Teep, keep an eye out. There will be more in this space. So what happens here is we go into flight mode. We go like this. It's too much. There is war. There is America. There is Europe. There is a financial crisis. Prices are going up at ICA. We're going to boycott because it's too expensive. It's a lot of this. Reaction. You could go into door number 2. You can try it out. And I'd like to say that there is a huge shift mindset-wise between door 1 and 2. Door 1 is where you feel like overwhelmed like this and almost shrinking a little bit, breathing a little bit shallow, feeling a bit heavy. Door 2 is like, actually, okay, I understand I don't understand a lot of these things, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do my future vision 10 years ahead of time, like Sofie said. I'm going to visualize sitting on a beach. I'm just working on my laptop, maybe not working on your laptop, I don't know, maybe having your own studio somewhere. Doing the inner work, this is so important. So try out new things, starting small, find new revenue streams. This is where you go from reactive into proactive mode. And this, my friends, again, is one of those pivotal parallel choices that you can make. Even if it's just the tiniest little choice in a proactive way, it can shift completely the path forward. Door 3, you could also, like Siw Malmkvist did, go all in. You know Siw Malmkvist? Siw Malmkvist is one of Sweden's most famous artists and celebrities. And she was the first one to enter television. At 88 years old, she came to a spatial art gallery that I built out at a hackathon within 24 hours. She came in, wore those goggles that you saw, the Apple Vision Pro. We featured her art, and it was amazing to see how she, like 88 years old, trying out these new things. It was hilarious and fun and very heartwarming to see her experience her art, her music in that context. So now this is where it gets interesting, because this is you saying, you know what, I'm not just going to follow the trends, I'm actually going to lead them. I've made a decision for myself and what I do. We are going blue ocean. We are not just going to build for Earth. We are going to space. We're actually building a cultural center on Mars. That's where we start. I don't know what your vision is. It could be grand, it could be small, doesn't really matter. What matters is, what does your heart tell you? What is it exactly that you feel lifts you up? So here, it's about clarity and direction. Again, your why, your vision, your mission, your purpose, which will inform you what kind of technologies would be useful for you. So I'm all about connection, like you are here. I love coming together. and I work a lot with arts entrepreneurs and coach, teach and train high performance. And I've noticed that the way I see it is when you can create physical things, you can create hybrid layers, digital layers, and also immersive layers. It allows you to expand your creations. It allows you to also connect with your audiences and buyers in new ways, create new income streams, be more independent. You can do more, be more, create more on your own terms. That's why I'm passionate about this. And again, an inside tip, look into XR, extended realities, in addition to AI. That is so early right now. Not a lot of people know about it, but they need you, the creators, to come into the creation of these tools. So often as creators, we miss the technical bits, but the technical companies, they need you as artists and creators. Make sense? Because you come in with all your visions and you see things they don't. Yes, so surround yourself with great people. So bottom line, what is it that I'm trying to say? Technology is here to stay. Future really depends on what we make of things the way they are, but also you're dreamers, right? You're dreamers and you're doers. So it's also about what do you want to make of it and what do you want to do with it in the future. And like I said, just to give you a few examples of tech, trends that you can surf, the digital waves, big things that are happening apart from AI, obviously, robotics, coming big. Humanoids, do you say that? Humanoids? You know, soon we will see a robot in every household. That's huge now. There are huge developments right now. Boston Dynamics just released a robot, just literally moves like us now. It's happening fast. Quantum computing, imagine when we don't no longer have this, and it's just like, I can't even fathom what that means. It's really crazy. Blockchain is a big thing, decentralized, big thing, especially in the world since there is a lot of worry and concern on the financial markets. A tip, don't discard blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs and metaverse. I'm dropping those names. Maybe you've never heard about it before. Google it, Bing it, ChatGPT it, Grok it, whatever, just so you learn more about it. But I'm here to say that those things are here and they are here to stay. Even governments are implementing it, even banks are implementing it. Yeah? So I just wanted to share that with you. So those are a few of the trends that you can look into. And I know, for instance, in dance, they are experiencing now with robots, for instance, just to see, how do we interact with machines? How can you bring them on stage? Then we have the copyright. And then we have other issues. What happens if, ... So, and speaking of where we are as well right now, also something to keep an eye out for is there are a lot of regulations right now, speaking of copyright and royalties and IP. And just know that EU is spending a lot of time on that and saying that, it's important now that we regulate AI. If you ask me, I say that train has passed. I'm sorry to say. Time will prove if I'm right here. I'm not saying that we shouldn't continue to regulate and be ethical, but also know it's already been trained on our data. And also know that, it's not only about how you use all these tools with your own data, it's about how other people use those tools with your data. Yeah? So just be aware of that. So let's see. So, moment of truth. My sliding door moment was when I was in China and Japan on a business trip with entrepreneurs, and we got to meet with a gardener in a bonsai tree garden. And we got to know that and got to learn that over there, the way they see the trees is they don't own the trees. They are gardeners of the tree. They are like guardians. They hold the space for the trees, but the trees are there for thousands of years. And that's for me when my vision came with my company, Ars Dynamics. That it was like something that's it's not about me or the company. It's like this. It's about holding space for something greater than ourselves, just like you're doing here with CreativeMornings. So my moment of truth came when I realized, I can also now step into something bigger and actually do what I can to support artists, creators, do what I can in whatever capacity. So that led to this high-tech, high-touch arts entrepreneurship education company and community that I'm now building. So my question to you is, as I just said, what is your moment of truth? If you look into the next 10 years, 20, 30, 50, or even hundreds of years, what do you want to do? Who do you need to be? I put this on because I actually just tapped into going back into my dream, which is Muay Thai boxing. And I got into shape because I knew, I actually had a fear mode a few years ago, and I got really frightened during the pandemic and with all that was happening. And I went into the first one. And I had to make a choice. I either stand here and I'm afraid, or I, look after my health and do what I love and change. So this is actually rather personal for that reason, because this then has helped to stay sane in a mad world. And the principles I learned from martial arts, I can bring into entrepreneurship. And I don't know what that is for you. It could be dance, it could be photography, it could be something else, music. So, question is, what impact do you want to leave? What is your ikigai? What are you passionate about? What are your talents? What does the world need? And if this is your profession, what pays you as well? And this is an important one. What pays you as well? So, look into that. So, what is a legacy? I often say that supporting creators is like you are pollinators. It's like the bee in the garden that's sort of flying there, and it's like, oh, there's so many beautiful flowers, but it doesn't realize it's because that bee is actually the pollinator that creates all the flowers. And the way I see it, this is a garden, you are bees, we are bees, and we can also create positive ripple effects. Again, parallel decisions, sliding door moments. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? What kind of a role model do you want to be, and for who? So with that, I want to say thank you so much. I hope that this has sparked a little bit of inspiration. I'm happy, as I said, to answer any questions if you want more tactical, practical. But please, 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 never ever lose sight of the why. Why is this important in the first place? And also, it's one thing to say yes to things, but I also find often it's about saying no to 99. So with that, thank you so much for listening.